Hi, and welcome to Age of Empires 4. We are on Hill and Dale, but checking out some Diamond Platinum League players. In the west, we have Umki playing the Japanese and heading out for some yummy venison. And on the eastern side, munching on the berries, we have the Abbasid Dynasty. So, we're on Hill and Dale, a pretty campy map, and you know, some good options here for all of them. Abbasid, of course, often love to go into the multiple town centers. And you have a defendable base, and this one's more defendable than most. This wood line blocking the northern entrance. So it looks pretty good. Japanese also have a similar, easily defendable entrance on their south. The Japanese can also go for a second town center. They're not doing the build I most commonly see or use, which is where you start off on the stone to get the gold you need, because you'll remember that the Japanese get stone when they pick up gold, and gold when they pick up stone. But right now, we're seeing a pretty standard age up. I'll switch this over to villagers on the resources. And they're at the same point here, 8 on food, 2 on gold each. Each collecting the most advantageous resource they have available to them without any tech ups. So the question is, do the Japanese go for a fast castle, go into the Mounted Samurai Rush? That's obviously a strong option, though you are going into the Abbasid's camels. Or do they do a feudal push to try to capitalize on the Abbasid slow boom up if they go for the multiple town centers? Or do they end up going for their own town center themselves? We'll see. House of Wisdom comes down. Still rallying to food, so we have now 10 on food, 1 on gold for the Abbasid player. Amada Sheep Hall, 6 each. A pretty good spot for the core storehouse right here. I want to apologize, I know the colors are not great, but when I flipped the UI into blue and red, it didn't work. It changed it on the map, but it didn't change the header, so I thought that was too confusing. Of course, storehouse is going to be set into the back, a little bit offset here from the town center. Slowly tapping it up with just 1 villager. Both going for a heavy food push. Abbasid going in for the military wing and not switching villagers off of gold. But now several villagers are coming onto wood. So maybe themselves looking to do a big feudal push, maybe stop the anticipated fast castle. Might be a fast castle, but it's not going to be a fast feudal with 1 villager. So curious to see what they go for here. 6 villagers on food is barely enough. You need, of course, 4 to get enough food to have constant town center production. You only need 2, however, after fresh foodstuffs comes in. And now we see a stone outcropping being set up here. 4 more sheep coming in. Japan's still pretty happy to be consuming the deer they have to the north. Still 4 on gold, so that still looks like a fairly fast castle. Though they haven't dropped the tower yet, which is usually a sure sign. Well, the military is not coming out. The Abbasid have housed themselves. Villagers... No, somebody needs to make a house. There we go. Now these villagers will get that house down. So a little bit awkward build order. Better watch with your 13 sheep here, buddy. You're gonna get 14, so good sheep numbers for both of them. Now the mask comes out. making a beeline straight for the berries of the Japanese. 5 minutes, still no age up through here. 2 villagers tapping away. Scout coming to check the position. And a barracks is coming down for the Japanese. So we might see them go into Onobagesha. Onobagesha actually do quite well against archers if they're able to get on top of them. Scout sees it. The small force is now attack moved. Oh, they've been reset now. There's a single sheep on that house. They're going to try to pick off that single lone villager. Now they've changed direction again. They're going to try to get that villager. Archers firing down on it. They give up. Move around to the east. And it is going to be Onobagesha coming out here for the Japanese. Back in the Abbasid base, no more production coming out. Lots of villagers on wood, a handful on stone. So likely going for that second full-cost town center. And they're going to go build it over by the northern berries. Japan here, kind of weakly pressuring. And now, interesting, they're going to go for a hardened samurai. And they still have Onobagesha queued up here, so an interesting choice. Onobagesha are being... The Onobagesha are inside there. They're being rallied to the town center for protection. Getting out of there quick. Town center coming up here for the Abbasid. Remember, if you're playing the Abbasid, and I hope they do, you have to get down the mill in order to get the bonus on those berries. So I expect that they'll do it. They did it to start the game. 3 Onobagesha now charging forward. A 4th out. Never mind, that's a samurai out. And they're going to start doing work. First spearman goes down. Archer's going to go down. Look at that range on those Onobagesha. Well, that cleans up the force pretty quickly. So, Abbasid go for the military wing age up. And what do you get? Ooh, get a lost scout. At best, you could say, okay, it bought them time. They had a town center. Even though they had to pay full price, it was totally uncontested. And now they're going into the camel archer. 3 queued up already. Just rally to the back of their base for now. A little tip, by the way, when you build the mill for the Abbasid, you don't have to build it next to the town center. Because unlike, say, China or Juicy, it doesn't matter if you drop things off at the mill. If you put the mill over here, for example, on the eastern side of this, now you have a drop-off location with the town center and on the other side. It just gives you a little more coverage, cuts down that walking distance. Obviously, this has its own benefit because the area of influence that you'll have as the Abbasid for getting those golden ages. The mills are very good at extending that. They have a little more range. But anyway, just a small thing. No reason to not put it over there. Also still have berries. That boar, of course, doesn't matter. And a good wallable section here. So a good space for them to boom out. Going into a mix now of regular archers as well. Japan has reached the castle age with the Kura storehouse. It goes into the barracks, and the Shinto priest is going to immediately make a move here for the center relic. Abbasid moving out. No scout. Red has a scout. They're going to come around. And now the Onobagesha are going to start coming through. Now Onobagesha are fast. 1.5 movement speed. The camels are only 1.62. Regular archer is 1.25. So, ooh, that scout might go down. Now we're going to have 2 scoutless armies. Indeed we do. No more production coming through. A barracks coming out. Oh, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. Nothing more coming out of the original range, though there is a second range, 2 barracks, and a stable all coming up. Japan using their force to protect the relics. They don't have a... what do they call it, the Japanese? They don't have their Shinto shrine up yet. And, you know, you have right now Abbasid is scaling, right? They're getting basically 2-for-1 villagers out of 2 town centers. Japan only has the single town center, but they are going to get these relics. They do have the Yoshiro potentially to later help them. I like how they're filling up these farms pretty deliberately. And a lot of gold. We're still seeing a good deal of production coming out. A 18-4 military advantage. So if 2 more stables coming down, they never completed that first one, I guess, so this is the original one they built. But we now have 3 ranges, 2 barracks, 2 stables. And Abbasid is moving towards that point where you have a pretty critical mass that's able to develop. You get enough villagers and you get that production down. Well, you're in a great spot because even if you don't have an army, you can make one quickly, but they might need one sooner than later. Onobageisha, along with a horseman, coming around. So Greedy Wall, a few more villagers would help here. Onobageisha and a samurai to the west, having already protected that relic. Now horsemen coming out. A Yoshiro dropped there as well. These villagers will make their way over to the sheep. So lots of food in the bank here for Japan. A really smooth transition they have. Isn't it great when you're Japanese? Another relic coming in here. So we have 3 safe relics. 1 in the base already. 1 almost there. 1 coming across the map. There's a safe relic to the north of their base. I say safe. It could be picked off. And there's another relic here. And Abbasid is now aging up with the culture wing. Maybe recognizing that there's not a lot of safe gold and they need those discounts. But, you know, a mistake here as well, I would just add, they have resources. They have enough to be pumping out horsemen, camel archers, spears. They have the ability to get upgrades on their spears. They already seen the horsemen out. That shouldn't be a surprise. This wall came up. But this is the thing. Even when you're transitioning as the Abbasid, you don't need to stop your production. As anyone, really, but especially the Abbasid, because you're still have all of your villagers working. Nobody has to stop to build the age up. It comes up slowly, but the House of Wisdom does it. Preservation of knowledge coming through. Japan, we love the second town center, so that's going to help them keep up. They're currently 15 villagers behind. Relics being picked up. Nowhere to put them yet. We're going to need to see a shrine sooner than later. 4th and 5th relics to be picked up. So 5 relics and an extra town center. They're going to be able to maintain the pace of the Abbasid economy pretty well here. Having earned preservation of knowledge, Camel Rider shields coming through, upgrade to veteran, spearman, bloomery. You know, you'd like to see the balanced projectiles coming in. You have good archer grouping here. But a 2-to-1 army advantage out here for the Japanese. They have their 2 production buildings, but of course the Yoshiro, they produce 125% faster. Relics now finding a home to be actually deposited into. You know, I would say a small level macro infraction here. You have all these relics. They could be getting you your gold. These shrines could have been built a lot earlier. But, you know, they got the relics. That's the main thing. The southern contingent moving to rejoin the main army. The western contingent now, excuse me, the eastern contingent is moved over, and there's a wall, so they're coming around. We'll see if red picks up on this. Orange now. Not aware that there's an army just outside. And Japan not recognized. Now the contingent comes through and immediately hits. The villagers are picked up here by the Japanese. A couple villagers go down, the first of the game. And now with a smaller military advantage than they had earlier, Japan is going to push the fight here. Camels, they are light, they are not armored. Onabagation do quite well against them. The horsemen stabbing away. Reinforcements will come through here. Defender's advantage. Villagers, you got to get all the way in. The high damage of the camel archers. Pick apart the Onabagation. So both sides kind of stumbling into a fight there. There's a better way to secure this gold. I want to get a tower up there. They're going to need it. There's two here. This is worth a keep. A town center. Multiple towers. This is something you need to protect. Reinforcements picked off. Sacred sites being captured. Stone walls protecting the second town center. Town center being rallied to wood. And big farms coming through here. Japan has yet to... Oh, there's an camel archer is going to pick off that priest and debuff that, or decap that sacred site. You do need the stone here. You're going to have this many farms in Japan. You need that bonus coming through. They have the stone for it now. They do not have the stone for it now. Sorry. Thought they did. They went for this wall. One of the elements of Japan having no keeps in the Castle Age is that their town centers can be upgraded and become so powerful themselves. You can get good map control and defensive capabilities out of them, but you need to upgrade them to get it. Right now, no upgrades. Not getting the 20% farm gather rate. And a large force out here for Abbasid. Abbasid has the resources, well at least they did when I started that sentence. I was going to say they had the resources to get a ram down. They do not any longer. Well, now they do. Comes quickly. I'm going to switch this over to income per minute. Yeah, you're getting 1,200 wood a minute. You're going to be able to get that pretty quickly. Now, also an interesting choice here. I'm not sure what's going on with these walls. That's okay. And a third town center down. So these are all full-price town centers, and also not building any gates. That's going to decrease their mobility and a chance to respond to raids. But 2 stones in the back here. We talked about protecting these up here with a single villager out here mining it. But this town center is going to help them just vacuum up this gold vein. Really help them scale into the late game. We're gonna have to deal with that wolf. I used to play with these Australians in team games. I think they're Australian New Zealanders, and they kept calling the wolves foxes. These damn foxes! That's not an Australian accent. But they were really upset about this. Now, Japan remassing and making a good choice here, not falling for the trap of not building enough production. It feels so good so early to have the Yorishiro in here. You produce so quickly. But you do need more in the late game. Or at least in the mid game where we are now. Mangonel out. No more siege in the queue yet. And not full production coming out here. Lancers coming out. Archers from both of the ranges. Composite bows is through, so you are going to get that attack speed buff. Springald coming in here. Great call. Japan loves to go for that infantry. Bonus damage against infantry, and it goes through them. So this large mass here, which is all but, except for these 2 horsemen, all infantry, really powerful. I would like to see a little bit more coming out of the stable. You have it. You have food in the bank. You have food coming in quite quickly. Still, ooh. Yorishiro in the town center. I don't know if this is a great move. I understand if you need to do it earlier to catch up. But now with 2 town centers, it might not be necessary. Mangonel shooting from the back, the single Springald, the archers pushing through. No crossbows in here. battle's unfolding. Production active in the north. And this army is getting completely wiped out. 10-to-1 advantage, well, now almost a complete advantage. Total domination out here from the Abbasid. Huge economy backing this up. Almost at full population. The farms are now being impeded upon. Full push into the back of the base here. This production, it's not going to be enough at this point, and they're running right into the fray. And this looks like it's going to be a GG here for Onki. Gulam's in here, joining the mix. 11 of them. And Japan here out of options, out of answers. Not pushing the issue, however. They didn't need to. An army was regrouping outside, and it was clear that there was going to be no exit here for the Japanese. Hey, well, thanks for joining this game. It was great to see some good gameplay there. I want to look at the economic count. You know, Japan was never able to quite keep up. Both players, you'll see, had inconsistent villager production. See these little steps here? You know, that means that Abbasid were not taking constant advantage of that villager production from their 3 town centers. Same here, you can see some little steps, a little bit of flatlining. Not full production out of all the town centers for either player. That could have been important. Resources gathered. Abbasid, you know, with all of their investments in the economy, they didn't really get the most out of it. You can see Japan, by getting those relics, by being efficient with the Yoroshiru, they were really able to be able to keep pace with the Abbasid there. And then you look at the military count, and again, that mistake, that right-clicking into the northern extension of the base, they weren't careful. They didn't know where their military was going. They walked right into a mass. That lost their military advantage immediately, and then it allowed Abbasid to take a good fight into the front of their base right with the reinforcements. So a couple of costly mistakes there. 2 good players, 1 winner. Congratulations, and we'll catch you in the next one.